concludes the first half of the first game. There's been cheering all over the switch on and going through the front line.
And that brings us to half-time in the opening match. An absolute thriller, and England lead France by 6-5. Welcome to the second half. It's great to have you joining us here in Nottingham for the European Touch Championships. France attacking the line to your right-hand side and straight on the front foot. Currently 6-5 behind against England. Joining me for this one is Ben Powell. Ben, great to have you here. We've watched a great first half. What have been your thoughts as France take the first dive for the line? Referee shakes his head and the score's been awarded 6 apiece.
Yeah, ball down there before the touch was made. It was a good first half. I think both teams will have gone into their circle talking about the error count. Coaches certainly will have been reinforcing getting those basics right, particularly close to the line. There's plenty of touchdowns on offer.
Well, that gap through the two middles there. Well, many of you will be watching Touch for the first time, where we've got some fantastic experts joining me, Dave Rogers, throughout the day. We will be talking you through some of the rules, but the most important one is the team with the most points at the end of the match escapes with the victory. And should England get home here with so many inexperienced players, let's just say, a lot of fresh faces in this mixed open side, to get this close against a good France team, that's a decent start to the competition, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams are at very different periods of their growth. France are coming off around 3 years together, actually. Whereas this England mixed open team, they've got 10 debutants coming into the European Championships, and they'll be looking to take a very similar team through to the World Cup. So both teams at different aspects of their development.
Oh, beautiful ball that just goes to ground. It looked like it was on there for England for a second. Plenty of gaps on the right-hand side of the defence for France. Oh, and a mistake there. Coughs the ball straight up to England, and a real opportunity here. You spoke about mistakes in the half-time huddles there, Ben, and that's one that France won't want to continue to make as we progress in this second half.
Yeah, both teams, I mean, the error count's already 3 between them. We're 2 minutes in, so they'll look to fix that. I mean, it's first game nerves, first game of the championships as well. We've got a penalty here for dropping early, and England have taken it quickly, and the touchdown's awarded. So George Price, quick tap, and he's through, and England regain the lead.
England 7, France 6, George Price. Well, that's a couple of minutes rest for him, because he's taken that one quickly. France completely flat-footed, gone quickly, scored, and then run straight to the subs box to have a breather. Good work, George Price.
Yeah, so the French middles, they're discussing the outcome with the referee, and they need to be looking at the mark, because George certainly was. That'll really give England some confidence, actually. Buy them some time to relax a bit.
Well, there are a number of competitions going on throughout this weekend. This is the mixed open, so we've got both men and women on the same team. We also have the women's open, the men's open, and some age group categories as well.
Yeah, we're well represented in the age group categories, so women's 27s right through to the men's 45s division.
Here come England, driving through the middle, coming towards the latter part of their touch count. Teams have 6 touches before they have to turn the ball over. That looping pass, just missing the winger over on the right-hand side. However, that's a smart play from England, because it means France at the furthest point they can be away from their subs box. Touch rugby played at such a hectic pace, it would be impossible to stay on for the entire half, so teams use their subs boxes, their interchange as well.
Yeah, they try and rotate. Generally, coaching principle is try and get yourself into the sub box every 90 seconds. That's kind of the aim.
Well, the ball's gone to ground from France there. As soon as there is an error, a forward pass, the ball going to ground, etc., and it instantly gets turned over.
So you can see where France are really effective here in their midfield defence. Intercept there, but they're essentially beating England to the bend in that rock area. So it's slowing England's roll ball down, which is allowing France to get back in that line to then move forward again to initiate that next touch.
There was an error there, and England have managed to get the ball back. I think they might have got away with one there.
Yeah, so France have gone to intercept. It looked like the other French player had regained control, but the referees ruled in favour of the attacking team. It could have been an offside call as well.
Well, the referees, there are 3 officials on each match. They'll be in white jerseys with black sashes. Let's call them sashes, shall we? From shoulder to waist throughout this competition. We've got live matches for you today, tomorrow, Friday and Saturday. We'll be bringing you 11 matches live from pitch number 1 today. We'll be bringing you right through to the climax of the competition and crowning all of the champions. Following this match, England still 7-6 to the good. We go to the men's open competition, Germany taking on Scotland. And then speaking of age groups, men's 45s, France versus Wales.
Yeah, that second game you've got there with Germany versus Scotland be an interesting fixture. Scotland have a lot of players coming out of the youth system this year for the men's open, and were victorious at the Junior Touch Championships last year in the boys division. So Scotland have missed the last 2 European finals. They were crowned European champions in 2012, so they'll be looking to get up there and challenge England and Wales, who have dominated that division for the last 2 championships.
Well, you speak about experience, and of course they're not short of experience in that 45s, but looking at this England mixed open lineup, there are players here with the opportunity to perhaps take even more responsibility at international level than they do at club level, and that's only going to improve them.
Oh, absolutely. Coming into a national setup and playing international touch really forces you to develop your game, and we're hoping these players will take that back to their clubs. That cascade of development is essential.
Well, we lost pictures temporarily. Apologies for that, and in that time England have managed another 2 scores. And now lead 9-6, 3-1 in this second period. This is impressive stuff. Absolutely thriving in the conditions here at the Highfields grounds in Nottingham.
So you're watching Sam Misson there run what they'll be calling out on the pitch as a counties. So Sam Samoing stepping back inside, drawing that shutdown player to create the overlap, and it's a nice hole for Ewan Armstrong there to hit, and an easy touchdown.
Well, many of you will be watching touch for the first time, so some of the rules might come as a little bit of a shock for you, but one of the things that transfers from any code of rugby is core skills, fundamentals, and that is exactly what we've seen from France. They're great handling, moving defenders around, and they're now just 2 scores behind.
Yeah, lovely touchdown. So general principle in touch, when a switch is coming your way, don't chase inside. France have run a lovely double switch, got England chasing too hard, and of course that third time coming back is just a bit too far for them. France really moving England around on the line now, which is not good signs for England, but certainly healthy for France.
Here's George Price inside to Alison Hogg. Camille coming forward, score of a superb touchdown in the first half. George Price moves the ball to the right-hand side. And this is something that might be unfamiliar to players who are watching for the first time, as Camille goes to again. Has he dropped that on the line? Yes, he has, says the referee.
Yeah, ball down there. I mean, France, interesting their defensive setup there. They're dropping quite deep, which is allowing Camille to get on the outside of his player with that ball from Ingram. So they're England really looking at the tactics of what the French are doing and identifying their defensive shape, and actually, as a result, enabling them to really dictate the attack they're running.
So before Camille put that ball forward, the point I was going to make was sometimes we'll see players almost grind to a halt when they get to within 20 metres of the line. Just talk us through exactly what they're trying to achieve there, as opposed to continuing to drive forward and get forward quickly, as we might see in Union or League.
Yes, there's a couple of reasons for that. The first being that the defensive line have actually dropped so deep that they've worked back onto their line, allowing the defence to regain the momentum from the attack. The second reason could be that England need to settle to actually understand the defensive shape of the French team, so they need to identify how the French are going to defend their line. The third reason is that France have taken the sting out of their momentum and therefore slowed them down through physicality. So in that case, it was England slowing down to identify how France were going to defend their line. And what teams will do is look at the defensive shape and then decide what set play they're going to run against them.
So almost an opportunity to press reset, assess what's in front of you, and then give yourself the best opportunity to utilise your 6 touches. Of France have coughed the ball up again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a unique sport in the fact that the defence can take control quite clearly. And what France will try and do here is actually disguise their defensive shape, so they don't want to give away things too early, because then England will take advantage of that.
10 minutes left of this one then. These games, 2 20-minute halves. I think England have just got a fresh set of 6 then. Sometimes it's difficult to spot the referees because they just drift out of sight. However, if you see them waving the fist above the head, similar to rugby league referees, then that's a fresh set of 6. It's a race to the corner here. But England win that particular one.
Yeah, so the set of 6 should have gone England's way, and before that next touch was initiated.
A beautiful bit of footwork there. Rosenthal for France makes it 8-9, back-to-back scores for them.
Yeah, Rosenthal, excellent player. He plays in Strasbourg, very successful club in the French setup. He's been in this mixed open team. I think this is his 4th European Championships. Started at a very young age, but real heart of this French mixed open team.
Well, lovely bit of footwork and great balance to get around the touch.
Beautiful, particularly diving over that potential touch as well. It's a mark of someone who's in good form. He's just back from a very serious knee injury as well, so that'll do his confidence a world of good.
Well, if you do continue to join us over the next few days, and I hope you will, you'll see some fantastic dives for scores. Sometimes from further out than you thought it was possible to do so, stretching every sinew to get over that line.
Yeah, many techniques in the dive. One that we'll hopefully see a lot of this weekend, and certainly the grounds will allow, is diving in and really sliding that ball over the touchdown line as well. An interesting technique and one that's very effective.
We've seen a dive for the line there. The referee takes a look, and the score's been awarded. Josh Ingram restores that 2-touchdown lead for England, 10-8.
France will feel a little bit hard done by there. They were claiming the touch was in before the ball was down, but Josh Ingram, that big arm stretched out. Josh's a very experienced player, part of the Wigan Warriors set up here, and recent years they've won the National Touch Series in England, and he was part of the mixed open team in 2016 as well.
7 minutes remaining. Just so you know that our clock is only an approximation as France come for the line again, trying to slip that one out the back door, but the ball goes to ground. The reason the player didn't touch that down is if you go from half, then you are not able to score. If you go into that end zone, then you need to find a pass. If you're touched, it's a turnover. And that's one of the most exciting things about the game in attack, is when a half goes into that zone and has to try and find the pass. Very tactical, both in attack and defence, as England come forward once again. Stopped 8 metres short. There's that big pass off the right hand. Oh, and it's been dropped on the line. They'd opened up the defence. Most of the hard work was done. It was still a difficult take, but France let off the hook, and it remains 10-8.
Yeah, I mean, really good setup play. That ball probably come a little bit too late for Jade. She was expecting it a little bit earlier, so it kind of started her dive. She did quite well to recover, actually. England very close to pushing that lead back out to 3.
Here come France again. It's amazing how quickly this game can turn around. It's Antoine in the middle. Tries to isolate the wingers. A switch inside again. I think the ball's been knocked forward there. Referees
touching first for France.
Hubert. France running out of touches here. In fact, they lost count of the touches, and that was the last one. England turned the ball over.
Yeah, really good turnover by England. They'll be working on that in the back end of this second half. The quicker you can turn that ball over, the better yards. You can see there, France, to get themselves out of trouble, they'll go through what we call a red touch there, a heavy touch, to try and get themselves back in a position where they can take control, but England have got on top. And another penalty there for a hard touch. So France are really suffering from that at the moment. They'll need to fix that in their box.
Well, England now with a fresh set of 6 in between the half line and the 10 metre. A real opportunity now as we approach the final 5 minutes. That's the first touch. No mistake from England, and they turn the ball over. So moments to cast aside for both teams.
Yeah, England are being called off the mark there, so it's an interesting one, particularly around the speed of play. But the referee's deemed the attacking player has not dumped the ball on the mark, and by that, where you get touched is where you have to dump the ball. So if you overrun that or overstep, you must go back to where the touch was initiated.
Here come France again then. De Blaise. Little ball inside, and then he picks it up at half. Looking to work it to the right-hand side. Touch coming in from Missing. I think that ball had gone forward regardless of the fact that it had gone to ground. And England survive once again. 10-8 coming into the final 4 minutes. Remember, this clock just an approximation. So if your team's winning when it goes red, don't get too excited. However, if you turn the volume up, not only will we be a little bit louder, but you will hear a siren in the background. It's a rolling clock for all 8 pitches. They get a siren at the beginning of each half and a siren at the end. England again, France going backwards in defence. There's the short pass, the dive for the finish, but the touch going in. If you are touched in the act of diving, then the touch counts.
Yeah, that's a really good defensive shutdown there. So we talk when a player loses their attacking player as a defender, you essentially want that player outside you to come down and shut down for you. And the female link there for France did a great job at picking up young Sam Misson on his dive.
So again, if you're new to the sport, you'll have heard the word link there. There are 3 main positions on a touch field, 6 players on each team at all time. The 2 in the middle are the middles, then the players either side of them are the links, and then the players on the outside, a word you'll be more familiar with, they're the wings. Oh, and there's a lovely little shuffle inside. The touch was made, but it's going to be a fresh set of 6 here for France. Fantastic footwork from Montanat.
France looking to slow things down a little bit now. They want to draw England off their line to actually give themselves an attacking platform. And you can see England starting to identify their shape, pushing up their middles to make this touch. The 2 guys there in the mids. A really good touch there from Leah Cuthbertson from the link position.
Rosenthal trying to put it wide early. That's gone to ground. Just needs sensible touch rugby from England here. Should be enough. With just over 2 minutes to go to see out the win.
Yeah, you can see England here, really good game management. You'll notice very few mistakes in the last 7 or 8 minutes from England, which has actually coincided with them getting back in front in the game and on top of the game as well. I think both coaches certainly reflect on that as they go in, as there's not been too much between them.
Here's Ingram. This is the ball to the outside. England noticeably taking the pace off the game now, knowing that the scoreboard and the clock are on their side. There is a change of pace from England though. Here's George Price, dives for the line. Well, 2 match officials having a discussion here as to whether it was touchdown or touched first. And they've gone for touchdown. England 11, France 8. George Price once again. And England making their way towards an opening victory.
Yeah, touch seemed to be initiated there, so I think what the referees have identified is that player who's initiated the touch was actually offside. So that means they haven't got back to the line in this case and got into an onside position before they've moved forward to initiate the next touch. The referee will call you back a minimum of 5 meters after every touch, and you can't initiate the next touch until you've been in that onside position. George Price taking advantage, and England extend their lead.
Well, time running out here for France. If they're going to get anything from this, they must score surely with the next phase of play. Here's the opportunity, the drilled pass out to the right-hand side. Goes to ground, they turn the ball over once again. And I think their overwhelming regret from this game, should the score remain the same, is they need to be more clinical and they need to make less mistakes, this France mixed open side.
Yeah, absolutely. They're creating the opportunities, they're getting in the right positions, they've got a lot of flair and skill to their game, but they just need to be more clinical. I mean, you'd expect that game 1, day 1 of a major championships. So good foundation to build on for them, but England deserved leaders at this stage. England setting up here with a backdoor play, so you've got a sweeper coming around trying to create an overlap.
Well, there goes the siren, there goes the referee's whistle, and match number 1 on pitch number 1 finishes England Mixed Open 11, France Mixed Open 8. Dream start here for the hosts. We talk about France needing to be more clinical moving forward, but how do you think England will feel about this performance?
Yeah, they'll be pleased. A win's a win at this stage. Their coach Justin Conway, very methodical in what he does, so he'll be going through where improvement's needed. But I think if you're talking about completion, if you're talking about errors that you're making, then actually you're in a quite healthy position in the early stages of a championship. Likewise for France, you know, they'll go through where things went wrong for them. Again, a lot of their issues were actually caused by themselves. So whilst they'll be disappointed with the result, they should be filled with confidence moving forward.
It's great to have so many of you watching. Let us know where you are watching from, and of course, if you're new to the sport, let us know if you've got any questions as well. We'll be bringing you every match in the competition from pitch number 1. There are 8 pitches in perpetual motion. You can get in touch on social at England Touch is where you can do that. And if you do have any questions, if you'd like to let us know where you're watching from, then get in touch, and I'll do my best to get them all answered. Of course, I've had Ben Powell next to me for this one. We have Hannah Crisp next to me for the next match, then Greg Cropper, so a whole host of experts in this fantastic sport. And it's a huge championship, and it's kind of the beginning of the culmination of what's been a lot of hard but quite exciting work for the Federation, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're delighted with England as a host nation, the venue, the setup, the exposure the game's getting. This is our biggest ever Euros. You know, so it's fantastic to get things underway with such a brilliant game, and also, you know, there's a big rivalry between these two countries as well. France are a touch nation that is probably the closest to rivaling England in terms of participant numbers. You know, and they're constantly pushing England, Scotland and Wales, the more favoured nations, harder and harder each year, so it's great to see them kick things off for us on field 1.
England 11, France 8, full time here. As I mentioned, we've got 11 live matches for you today. Next up, Germany versus Scotland in the men's open, then France versus Wales in the men's 45s category. We're just going through some highlights here. 19 touchdowns in this opening fixture, 11 of them for England. Next up,